Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel Tomcat Stitchery. I'm Whitney and today I have the lookbook of my tops and toppers for my current spring wardrobe that I have made up. Following along some of the guidelines from the Everyday Style, Everyday Style School is the name of the podcast, but Everyday Style mini capsule, their spring mini capsule. I've used that as a outline kind of for creating my spring wardrobe, and I'm totally gonna buy the summer one too. I've had such a fun time doing this and I've been wearing things a ton. I feel like I've had a lot of missing links put into my wardrobe and everything all of a sudden, I was on the right path with figuring out my wardrobe and, the modules. I still think the modules are a fantastic way to sew and to plan things out. And this is kind of just the module just expanded. So anyway, I feel like everything is finally coming together and I'm loving my current wardrobe. So that's very exciting. Just feeling put together every day, even if I don't have makeup on. If you're following me over on Instagram for Me Made May, I'm posting pictures of my outfits. And you'll notice most days I am not wearing makeup. I like to let my face breathe and that kind of stuff. But I'm still getting dressed, still putting on my jewelry. And even though I'm not wearing makeup, I still am feeling very put together and very, stylish, which is a fantastic feeling. So anyway, let's get started. I have a few tops here. Let's see. These are all the tops you've not yet seen. So these are the tops I had plans for in my video where I talked about the tops I was bringing in for my current wardrobe plus some plans. You've seen a couple of them though, so I will just touch on those briefly and then I'll put a little card if you want to go see the video where I talk more about those at length. So I've got 7 things to show you. So let's get started. All right, the first two things, at the very end, I'll put video of me in the actual outfits all worn with my skinny jeans because just for consistency. And then at the end, I'll put a little montage of me in all of the tops and toppers so you can kind of see everything. All right, the first two tops are both the same pattern. They are the Concord by Cashmerette. I'll pop a video to that, or a link to that video up at the top there. Just love this. I needed a white t-shirt. I did not have a white t-shirt in my wardrobe at all, which is just ridiculous. I feel like I need more than one, really, because I'm messy. But for right now, I just have this one. It is the scoop neck version with the short sleeves. I did the mid-length. This pattern is so good. It's so great for big boobs. I made the size 10 with the GH cup and graded out to a 12 at the waist and then back to the 10 at the hip. The 10 at the hip is still a little big for me, but I probably need like an 8 at the hip, but that's, it's a t-shirt. I'm not too concerned about it having a little extra room at the hip. That's fine. Made this in a ivory colored cotton jersey. Love it. I omitted the bands that come with the pattern and then I just, turned under a hem and cover stitched it. So there's that one. Again, I've talked about this in a video, so already. And then the other one is Concord again, and I used the Edie neckline from Sew Over. It's from their Work to Weekend ebook. I'll pop a link to that. I didn't do that in the Cashmerette video. I should have. To what that pattern is, the Edie. I just love the neckline on that, so I traced the neckline of that pattern onto the Concord t-shirt because I just love the way the Concord fits me so well. So anyway, this is my mashup between there. It gives me my Breton style top. I used the mid-length sleeve, the neckline that I hacked, and then the mid-length again as well. Love this. I also omitted the bands and just turned it under and hemmed it. So there's that one. You can hear more about those in the video. Okay, I needed a couple of more knit tops and I just wanted something a little different than just like your standard t-shirt. Something, Jennifer McImary from the Style School, she calls these Beyond Basic t-shirts and, or Beyond Basic knit tops, I guess. So something that's just has a little something different. It's just not a standard, scoop neck, V-neck, whatever t-shirt. So for the first one, I went with, and I also got new tags. I'll show you that. I'm looking at one right now. Okay, so for the first one, I had this beautiful apricot jersey from Stylemaker Fabrics. It is their cotton modal, and I love this so much. It has just a little bit more drape than a cotton jersey, but still enough structure that I don't feel like I'm melting. Sometimes with like bamboo knits and rayon and viscose knits, if it's just that in a regular t-shirt with no reason, sometimes I just feel like it gets droopy on my body. I think it looks great on other people though when you have like those real slouchy t-shirts. Just I have too much going on, I guess. My boobs, I don't know. Anyway, just my preference. But I had seen on Bowden's website, they had a white t-shirt that was kind of this real open neck that had a dropped sleeve, but a short sleeve. And when I was looking at that t-shirt, I was just getting ideas for something a little different for white t-shirts actually, and then ended up going very basic with mine. But I saw that, I'm like, oh my gosh, I love that. And that is totally the Maritime knit top from Liesl & Co, which I have, and I've made it in a merino knit. So I remade it, but did the short sleeve version this time in this cotton modal. Love it. And I got new tags from the Dutch label company. So I got two different kinds. They're very simple, but this is the kind that you would sew in because this neckline finishes with a facing. And actually the next time I make the Concord with the Edie neckline, I think I'm gonna draft a facing and finish off the neckline this way. Because you can use a facing that is interfaced when your neckline is this wide because it can easily get on over your head without needing to be stretched. And I just like the way that it's, you know, top stitched down. I just think it looks so nice and neat. So I think I'm gonna do that the next time I do the Concord instead of just turning it under, you know, I interfaced it and then turned it under and cover stitched. I think I'm gonna do facings next time. But this is just such a simple top and yet not simple all at the same time. Love the fabric. It's just a fun, different color. This was called apricot, which is one of the colors I'm using in my little capsule. Yeah, not much else to say about it. It's just a really good little top. And I did mention in the other video how I got crazy about a drop sleeve on me, the drop shoulder. And it's not my best shoulder by any stretch. It can make me look a little wider, but I don't know. There's something about this top. Maybe it's the wider neckline that gives like visually, but this one doesn't bother me as some do. Because normally I'm also wearing a drop shoulder right now. This is a really low drop shoulder though. It doesn't hit until, well, probably my worst spot actually, right at my bust. But anyway, yes, I don't normally like to emphasize my upper body with those kind of lines because I can very easily go inverted triangle. So yeah, I just have to be careful, but I do really love this one. So there's that one. And then my other Beyond Basic, so I got those tags that sew in, and then I also got tags that iron in for the shirts, especially knit shirts, that just have regular bands. So this is the same tag, but this one irons in. And this shirt's been washed twice now, and it is absolutely hanging tough there. Very exciting. Okay, also totally in love with the shirt. This is the same fabric as the shirt you just saw. This is in the color Sage, I think, also from Style Maker. This is the Breckenridge Henley from Love Notion Fabric, or Love Notion Patterns. I love this top so much. It is so flattering. So I made the size medium with the full bust front. I did the longer sleeves that have the tab that roll up, and I actually rolled up the sleeves and I did not sew any buttonholes on this. I just sewed the button down so it stays, and then I tacked the underarm seam here. I just pulled this one out of the wash, so it's a little wonky at the moment. Get that all tucked in there. I just wanted them to always be rolled. Like that's the only way I really wanted to wear this shirt. So I also tacked the underarm seam there so that these always stay rolled even after they come out of the wash. So I just love that look, and this cotton modal is perfect for that. So this, because it's a little fuller through the body, this shirt is, the modal and the jersey just helps it drape and hang really nicely, but it still holds its shape because it's got the cotton in there. It's a really good combination. I use these vintage buttons for my stash. Again, no buttonholes. I just sewed these straight down to close that placket. You could use snaps. You could use buttons and buttonholes if you want. There's instructions for how to do that, but I just sewed my buttons down. It easily gets on up over my head, so it's just such a cute pattern. I love this so much. I really want to make the dress version. And there's a shorter sleeve length. This is my first time. I've owned this since it was released, but I hadn't made it up yet. And oh my gosh, I am so in love with this. And I love the color. This Henley is, yeah, really love that. All right, and then my final top that I made, which is extremely wrinkly, it just came out of the wash, is I made my classic shirt from Liesl & Co. And I made it in this gorgeous, I think it's called Winter White cotton shirting. This is from Style Maker Fabrics, and it's like the perfect cotton shirting. It's almost, I mean, it's not really a sateen finish, but almost, you know, like it's super slick. It holds its shape well, holds the collar well. It's just your standard cotton shirting. It is narrow. It's, I think, 44 inches wide, so just keep that in mind when you're ordering what you need. But yes, made the Liesl & Co., classic shirt, made the size 8 with the D cup, which is what I made in my brown one as well. I did, the pattern actually calls for 2 little pleats on either side. I just combined them and did a center pleat in the back, box pleat. That's just my preference. And that's really the only thing I did. I think I shortened the sleeves by 1 inch, and I shortened the body by 1 inch. Oh, I also changed the hem. So I don't like the way she does. I prefer my own way to do the hems with the bias binding. It's so wrinkly. With the bias binding. So she has you like stop, like the side seam is just like one continuous line. It doesn't like stop and then go in like a typical pattern for a button-up shirt. So I just changed it so that it does do that. So you sew the side seam and it stops. And then I finished off the hem with bias tape that I made from the fabric. So wrinkly. Sorry, I should have ironed it before I showed you guys. I did the tower placket on the sleeve. I just love it. I mean, it's just your standard button-up shirt. It's just so good. And again, this was the color. This fabric comes in a lot of colors, but she has a white, but that is the winter white. So it's a warmer white, so that works better for me. So that's the one I chose for that. Okay. Let's talk about toppers. I have 2 here to show you that I have made up. The first one, okay, I said that I was gonna make the Helen's Closet Blackwood cardigan. I've made that a few times, love that pattern. But I had a few people, Lori was one of them, that said you should try the Sinclair Patterns Harper cardigan because it comes in petites and it's a very similar style. And I'm like, you know what? Like, I've made the Blackwood quite a few times. Again, love that pattern, but I'm like, I've heard a lot about that Sinclair Patterns. I know Karina from Lifting Pins and Needles makes quite a few of their things, they come in, most of their patterns have a petite, a regular, and a tall for their patterns. And it's not just that she's shortened it or lengthened it at a lengthen and shorten line, she shortened it at all the vertical spots. So it's, you know, shorter through the armhole, it's shorter or longer if you're doing tall, shorter through, you know, like the waist and through the, so it's shorter in all those places and in the sleeves. And the Harper cardigan is free. So I thought that's a perfect chance and a perfect reason for me to try it. So I did, and I made the Harper cardigan by Sinclair Patterns. Guys, I made 0 alterations to this. I made a large, which was, I think I decided I needed a 12. So, yes, and a large was a 12/14. So I think that's right. And an 8 and a 10 with a medium. So I went ahead and made the large with the petite. In my head thinking, you know, if you are buying petites, you go up a size. So if I'm normally an 8, let's say in pants for regular sizes, I actually have no idea what I am in regular store sizes because I've not bought clothes in forever. But if I'm an 8 in a regular size, if I want a petite pant, I would go up to a 10 petite and it would fit the same as an 8, if that makes sense. But it would just be shorter in the places that I would possibly need. So a lot of times if I'm wearing like a medium in a store-bought shirt, I actually don't wear petite pants even in ready-to-wear because I've got longer legs, I think I mentioned that, and petites tend to be a little too short on me, but tops definitely. And if I were a medium in a regular size, I would be a large petite. So anyway, so I decided, because I think I was on the cusp of a 10 or a 12, and decided to go up to the 12, and it fits perfectly. I made 0 adjustments to this, guys. I did the classic length of cardigan. It's kind of hard to see because it's dark. It's got the little patch pockets on the front, the band. This comes with a cropped classic, a long line, which hits like mid-thigh, and then a duster. So, and it's free. So, and then you get when you get it, you get a petite file, a regular file, and a tall file. So, highly recommend this one. I use this beautiful brushed sweater knit from Stylemaker Fabrics. It's wonderful. I did one of my iron-in tags there, which I haven't had to wash this yet because it's a cardigan. I wear it over things, but I think that's going to work just fine. It has like perfect drape. I love this thing. This cardigan's going to get worn so much. It's such a great pattern. So again, similar in shape to the Blackwood, but I had to make 0 alterations. It fits great in the shoulders, the sleeve length, everything. So that makes me want to try more Sinclair Patterns. So thank you, Lori, and everyone else that suggested that one. Okay, this is my final pattern. I did not think I was gonna have time to get this finished, but because I pushed this video and the last video, just because other things were coming up that I needed to post videos for just on the timeline, it allowed me to make my Heather blazer this past week. So I made this, so you're watching this on Tuesday. I made this and finished it last Tuesday, and I've been wearing it a lot ever since. Okay, so Heather blazer, I made the size medium with a couple of alterations. I shortened the sleeves. I only shortened the sleeves by 3/4 of an inch, and it's fitting about perfect. I narrowed the shoulders. I did a narrow shoulder adjustment of 3/4 of an inch because with the boyfriend style cardigan, I just kept thinking I really need for it to fit really well on the shoulders. Like I can't have it coming off my shoulder a little bit or it's just gonna swallow me up because it's not a fitted blazer. It's not a tightly tailored blazer. It's an oversized, looser fitting boyfriend blazer. And I think the way, when you're petite, that you can get away with wearing these oversized things is as long as it anchors somewhere. So having it fit really well on the shoulders was perfect. And I think it works. In my head it does. Don't tell me otherwise because I really love this. Okay, I shortened the body by 2 inches in 2 places. One like right above the waist. I shortened it 1 inch above the waist and I shortened it 1 inch around the hip area. And then I raised the pockets 1 inch because I wanted to make sure that they hit where they were supposed to, especially since I shortened the inch around the hip. It wasn't at the hem, but it was like in the hip area. I didn't want my pockets interfering with the hem of the coat. And it's about perfect. I have about 1 inch between the hem. Ooh, geez. No. Just got lipstick on it. Just a little. But 1 inch between the pocket and the hem of the coat. It's kind of hard to see because it's so dark. Okay, so I did the patch pockets. I thought about doing welt pockets on it, but then I was looking at all the different versions. I'm like, well, everyone's done the patch pockets pretty much, and it looks really good. So I'm gonna go with the patch pockets, and I'm so glad I did. So I used a heavyweight linen from the fabric store. I love their heavyweight linen. It has worked perfectly for this project. For my 2 types of interfacing, she wants you to use like a heavier woven interfacing and also a knit interfacing. I actually used my Palmer Pletch medium fuse for the heavier weight, and I used their sheer interfacing for the knit. It's really just more of having 2 different weights of interfacing so that things aren't getting too bulky. It's worked out perfectly. I also stuck shoulder pads in. So I have 1/4 inch shoulder pads. They're hardly anything, just 1/4 of an inch that I did sew into the shoulder before I put the lining in. And I'm really glad that I did. This linen has just pressed like a dream. I just did a machine buttonhole. We'll talk about the lining here in a second. Just did a machine buttonhole. Used just a horn button from my stash. It's actually in a dark brown. I thought about doing a navy button and I could change it, but I don't know. I kind of like the horn look. Okay, for the lining, I had enough. My mentor Joyce, when she gifted out her stash, I grabbed this silk because there was a lot of it. There was probably, it was narrow. It was like 44 inches wide, but probably 4 yards of it. Probably 3 or 4 yards of it. And even though these are not my colors, like they're way too cool and like saturated, the navy background spoke to me. I'm like, I'm just gonna grab this. Surely I'll find something to do with it. And it's perfect for this jacket. I have a little bit left over where I could probably line the body of something or the sleeves of something. But I was able to line the whole thing in this silk. It's like a silk jacquard. So the sleeves, so if I roll the sleeves up, you can see this bright pop of color, just as kind of fun. My mentor Joyce was a winter. So she went with clearer, cooler colors. But yeah, it's just worked out perfectly. I love this so much. Also, if you've never made a blazer before and you're wanting to dip your toe in, this is a great project to start with. This is a great first blazer because there aren't welt pockets. There's not a lot of really hard things. There's no vents that you have to mess with, no vents on the sleeves, no vents on the back of the jacket. So it's a great first blazer project. Just make sure those shoulders fit well. And you're good to go. So I made this on Tuesday. Cut it out, interfaced it, and made it all on Tuesday. My kids and my husband were both gone. I get 1 day a week in the house to myself because my husband's back in the office 2 days a week. And so but they're back-to-back days. And so whatever day that the kids are in school, on one of those days. I had the house to myself. So I was able to make the blazer, I don't know, maybe in 5 hours. So 5-6 hours. So anyway, very, very excellent first project. And then to wear it pushed up, I bought on Amazon, I should have brought them down here. They are like bands that you can put, my mom had a pair and still has a pair from the 80s and the 90s that you would put on with like shirts and stuff, where you could scrunch up your shirt sleeve and it would stay, and also blazers and it would stay. And we were talking about it last time I was home, and I was like, do you still have those? And she said, yeah, I do. I was like, can I have them? And she's like, well, no. She's like, well, if it's back in style, then I want to keep them. Anyway, you know, she'll only do so much for her children. So I was like, oh, that's a bummer. But then I'm like, well, surely they make them again. Like I mean, what are other people using to wear like the scrunched up, you know, sleeve? Sure enough, Amazon, $8.99, and it was a 3-pack. It was a silver pair, a gold pair, and a black pair. So I wear the black pair with this, and it keeps my, my sleeves pushed up. So you just kind of put it on, scrunch things up, pull them up over the band so that you can't see the band, and it keeps everything like pushed up. And I mean like Miami Vice style, like pushed up. So yeah, you can wear it either rolled or scrunched. Very cool. Highly recommend that. So there we have it. I'm so glad I had time to make that, because that is, yeah, I need a linen blazer in all of the colors now. And also I can't wait to make one of these in one of my plaid wools for this fall. So, or my menswear style wools. So excited. So there you have it, guys. There are all of my tops and toppers for the spring capsule wardrobe. I will put a montage here at the end so you can see everything together. And yeah, that's all I have for today. I will be back on Friday with another video. Have a wonderful week, everyone. Bye.